Hello everyone, it's your boy Matthew East coming to you from Canberra, Australian Capital Territory, Australia. Today I'm making an address specifically regarding the ongoing conflict between myself and Michael Armstrong. Michael has placed himself in a very dangerous position. He has created a militia, he has created a cult. Many of these people are involved in the government work, do government work. This is happening publicly. We all know about it. It's now an accepted thing in the Canberra community that Michael Armstrong, who grew up in a cult, spent time in the military and is used to the social norms of the military, has gotten a lot of former veterans and young people, and as a person who previously led a cult and led military units, has then functionally created these things in his gym, Rogue Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now we are aware that he used that influence to be able to harass me, who he thought was his son, to fulfill his own emotional needs. Remembering that Michael is a person who has very significant mental health issues, and myself, a person who is a mental health practitioner. When you put my name into the ARPA website, you will see my name come up as a provisional psychologist. That's because I'm a person who has been trained and is qualified to work with people with mental illness. This also means that there are situations where I become inseparable to the person with that mental illness, because I am able to understand people quite well, and when that happens, it can be bizarre for that person, because there's how many people are going to spend the time truly getting to know you. Well, unfortunately, I'm one of them, and I made Michael a study of mine because he was doing some very interesting things. I wanted to understand how and what he was doing. And that's how I've learned and understood him and watched him develop into who he is now. And I don't think he ever aimed to create this, although knowing some of the things he told me he wanted to create a community, sort of like what cults tend to do. He wanted to create a situation where he took the people out of the city and he would create an extended family, and they'd live together separately in an offline community. There is a pattern which cults go through, where they will start off often similar to a church, and as they become more intense in their beliefs, they'll remove themselves from the community, and that allows the leader to take on more of more of a religious role, so to become more divine or something. It's a consistent trend with how cults occur, and that's what Michael has been aiming for. So I've been trying to flee that, and because there has been a long friendship and we were part of a similar community, we are both veterans. We both have a relationship to a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym in Toowoomba, and it's a real shame. It's a real shame he has turned into the person he is today. I wish he had turned into someone who was a little bit more aware of their own issues and who they are as a person. But not Michael, unfortunately. So I have a large community art project. If you're watching this, I hope you're aware of TACO. It's a community art project that uses process art as a means of continuing a conversation and a community of people who are interested in stopping corporate espionage, the taking over of our government through corporations, as has happened in the United States, where it was recently taken over by billionaires, and that happened to the public to see. I saw that thing happening in Australia in the National Disability Insurance Scheme where I worked, and also workers' compensation insurance. I've been involved in corporate espionage. I've done the work. I know what it looks like. I know the strategies which are used, and I know what the people are like who do this work. So that's what I run. I run this continuous movement. It's meant to keep a political movement alive and capable of taking direct actions when necessary. I have somewhat of a command and control structure. I've got the only person I truly know is actively engaged in the project at a senior leadership level is Anne Toomey. I've tried to get more people involved in it in a more structured way, but because I'm in a situation at the moment, due to a whole lot of complicated legal shit, I'm not able to call, message, or do anything with anyone. I get to do things such as walk around here in Canberra, but I'm kept as a political prisoner. It's a very complex situation. My video is constantly streamed, and I'm watched, and part of that was because I was also part of the actual intelligence community in Canberra for a time. So Canberra is an interesting place. So while running this project, on different occasions, I've tried to include Michael. I once had a board where he was a member of it, and during that time he tried to take over the project from me. He's been trying to take it over ever since, really. I've been harassed consistently by people in his militia online, and because he comes from a cybersecurity background, I have to deal with a lot of hacking from members of his community who act in his name or by his direction, and there is both. So Michael's in a situation now where the community understands what he's doing, the government understands what he's doing, and eventually, and he's in a position at the moment where if he doesn't get enough political favour, he might end up having a very horrific fate. It's not unlikely that he might end up going to prison, or at least members of his troop will end up in prison, because he has engaged in the use of Australia's cyber warfare resources in the role of harassing and trying to dominate a civilian. So before this happened, he tried to enslave me. He tried to enslave me by trying to get me to take specific government jobs, or things of this nature. He tried to get me to abandon the project when he realized he could no longer control me. And this was done out of ego. And the ability for people, for at times the government to be able to control the political movement, because the political movement does not answer to the government. It is a separate entity. It is a political party. It functions similar to a political party. And because of this, I also marketed the tool as a cyber warfare, which it is, something similar to like a cyber warfare capability. These abstract things, like there's different kinds of power, like, you know, we talk about hard power or soft power in political science. They talk about the intellectual capital of a nation. There are all these different resources which are abstract, and Taco in an abstract form is quite powerful, but it's like, how do you market this to as a military contract thing? Because at a time I was trying to work with him to set up Taco as a private military contractor or something similar. But again, he could not accept not being in charge, right? So in his world, he needs to control it and dominate it. He's not interested in taking instruction. And this is what we'd expect from a cult leader who wants to control and dominate people. That's his thing. That's his idea of community, is a chain of command of control and domination. That's it. He hasn't expanded it much further than that. Control and domination. We have patriarchs, we have potentially matriarchs, and because he comes from this very old Testament, I don't know exactly what it was. I think it was a Jewish cult. It was something similar to that, like this very, very Old Testament religious community near Alice Springs. That's where he's from. That's how he sees the world, and that's what he wants. And me being in his world, I'm a junior to him, and I will always be a junior to him. And that's the case with everyone in his world, because unfortunately, Michael's the center of it. whether he will say it or not, he talks about humility. He talks about getting along with people by being very gracious and things of this nature. Not necessarily bad ideas in and of themselves, but they're also behaviors which allow someone in a structured patriarchy, which he's tried to create, be subservient to him, because he's the one who's telling you to be gracious, to be humble, right? It's just a way of masking the hierarchy by trying to espouse those values. And that's the place Michael finds himself in. He finds himself in a situation where he needs to win and take control of Taco, because he has done so much work trying to destroy my life and committed a very large amount of cybercrimes. He has created a fucking militia and a cult which has access to government infrastructure. He has done these things, okay? He is one change of wind in political direction along from being absolutely annihilated.